Also joined via Zoom, Adam Bona, who's a security analyst, for some more on this. Mr. Bona, thanks for your time as always. We've seen so many protests and tried protests and everything. What does this say about the current state of governance in the country?
Well, in terms of, good afternoon. In the current state of governance, it will be difficult for me. I'm not a governance expert, so it will be difficult for me to say. But what I can say, without any shred of doubt in my mind, is that, there seems to be some, appreciable level of tension, in town, where especially looking at the Fix the Country protesters and why they were stopped from protesting. I think that has probably increased the levels of tension, and also this young man who allegedly was killed by a mob, has fueled the kind of tension we are seeing. And so as far as I'm concerned, I would want to see, some amount of real dialogue at this juncture. What some of us can call for is dialogue. There is no need for confrontation, either by the police or, from both sides or the military. I think, the young people would have to be more measured. One life is already lost. And any more action from these young people would probably escalate the already call it tensioned or already bad situation we are seeing in the Setre, in the Ejura area. So I would call for calm. I would call for dialogue, especially from, the chiefs and people around the area should call the feuding parties to sit. If the DCE is complicit in this whole thing that took place, I don't know how much intel the police seem to have, but I was expecting that once his name was mentioned, in order to assuage, to get these young people calm down, they should have actually arrested the DCE and, asked him to give some statement of a sort. After all, an arrest, you have been cited for, come and defend yourself. If that is what is going to calm the youth down whilst the situation is being looked at, that would have helped. But I will call for dialogue.
Okay. Now, Mr. Bona, you're a security person, and the way at which the joint operations of the military and the police disperse the crowd using live ammunition, is that the way to go?
Well, you see, the use of live ammunition, if you ask me, it's not what is supposed to be, unless, of course, the agencies actually picked intel that, presupposes that suggests that some of the rioters, because this actually came out from nowhere, it was more of spontaneous, action or reaction from the young people, because from your colleague Abubakar's report, he said the family actually asked the police and the military to escort them to the cemetery. So at what point did these young people decide to pelt, stones at the military and the police? Of course, they would have the right to respond, but the right of response should be proportionate. It should be proportional. And so mine is that it means that not too much planning went into the security of the entire place, knowing very well that if they had picked intel, then they would have gone in with the pepper sprays, rubber bullets, and riot gear. It means that they weren't expecting the young people to riot, and this, I say, probably would have to be looked at, because
I mean, Mr. Bona, we know Ejura is a flashpoint. So shouldn't they have expected that anything could have happened and gone there prepared?
Well, now that is what I'm saying. Either they don't have the right accoutrement, the right gear to fend off any riots in the area, or they went there not taking into consideration the Ejura. I know Ejura very well. So I know, how situation can escalate quickly from 0 to 100. And so someone somehow in the Ashanti region, the Ashanti Regional Police Command, the Ashanti Regional Security Council, the regional minister, as for the DCE, probably the first thing the president should have done was to either relieve him or interdict him, let him step down to calm down the situation. But it looks like when this young man died, I have really not seen a lot from those from the region and also those from the national, from Accra, responding and knowing very well that there would be, some appreciable measure of, there will be some disturbances in the area. And this is not going to die down. We need to be prepared for what might come. But I will call for calm. The young people should stop. No one should die again after this young man has died.
All right, now, Mr. Bona, finally, before I let you go, the Ashanti Regional Police Command says that they've arrested 2 persons in connection with the murder of Ibrahim Anyas after his death. Does this come as a surprise to you that it seemed like nothing was going to happen, but until the death of the young man?
Well, from what I've monitored since last night and this morning dawn, the young man's life came under threat. And someone should have probably protected him. But it speaks to some of the security challenges we have, because you can see how quickly things have escalated in the region. The region have arrested 2 people. But who are these 2 people they have arrested? How involved are they? If he was killed by a mob would definitely not be 2 people. A mob would be, a good number of people. So where are these people? If the DC or the MCE was involved, why has he not been picked up? The people in the area and the people of this country probably wants to see more from the region, especially the Regional Security Council, the Regional Police Command, to ensure that, nerves calm down while they investigate. Arresting someone doesn't mean the person is going to rot in jail. You arrest to investigate usually before you prosecute.
Okay, now, and how do we de-escalate the situation we have on our hands at the moment?
Now, I want to see some real action. One of it would have to ask the MCE to step down. One of it, the president of the republic should ask, or the local government minister, I don't know who, but someone should ask him to step down. Maybe the regional minister should ask him to step aside. Once that is done, I think it's going to let the young people, it will calm nerves down. The second thing would have to do, probably the Ashanti himself. I mean, he's the overlord of the Ashanti region. And so you want to see himself or a delegation going into that place. And the young people who are rioting are mostly from the Zongo area in the Ejura area. I know that area very well. Probably the chief imam or his delegation should go there. Let's see some real action. If not, from what I'm picking, this thing would, there will be more fireworks in the area. And so I want to see them, move in there and ensure that these young people are reassured. The mosques are there. These mosques have a public address system. Use it to preach peace, because at the end of the day, the truth is that if they keep pelting stones at the police and the military, they are likely to fire back. But I will not be able to tell whether it's live bullet or rubber bullet. If they tend to destroy public property, the security agencies have the right to ensure that lives and properties are protected. And they themselves, the protesters should take into consideration their own life. One is lost. So they should calm down, sit with the agencies. If you have information, they should give it to the authorities. But I want to see more action from the regional authorities and, the president and probably the local government minister in ensuring that peace comes back to the region.
Adam Bona there is a security analyst.